This is video part 2. The last one I did was why this system wasn't working on the solar rapid shutdown, so I've since added a few components to get it to work. What I did is tap the 48 volt off the battery connections there and brought those over to the Tigo. I installed a DC rated switch that's switching the 48 volt DC, so I'm able to turn off and on the 12 volt power supply. So I've got 48 volt DC switch that then powers the 12 volt power supply. The output of the 12 volt power supply I ran through the EPO button, where I have a normally closed contactor installed in there as well, in addition to the normally open contactor that goes to the inverter. So when you depress that button, it'll shunt those B&B wires in the SolArk inverter. It will also open that 12 volt signal that goes to the Tigo, which will then initiate that rapid shutdown. So there's the power supply I used. It's a 48 volt input, 12 volt output, and then the output goes through the normally closed switch, powers the Tigo, the solar system turns on and runs in normal operation. So if the power were to go out, this stays running, your solar stays running in the off-grid mode until you press that button is when everything will shut down. So you press that button, it'll actually turn off the inverter so it doesn't backfeed anything onto the solar line, so it shorts those two pins there, B and B. And then it also cuts the 12 volt feed to the Tigo, which will cause the solar to rapid shutdown. So there's my solution to the new Tigo transmitter that requires more power than the pins 15 and 16 in the SolArk inverter can provide. So that's how we're going to do it there. And some people have said that you can power it off of a critical loads panel, but here we don't have one very close or at all. So this is on a detached garage and it's powering the house inside. So I had to pull it off of the batteries. And in this case, it's still going to work great, as it'll run in normal operation mode. It'll run in a grid power outage until you actually need to emergency power off the inverter and the solar. For a rapid shutdown event is when that button's depressed that everything starts to act. So hopefully that explains how you actually get your rapid shutdown working on the SolArk inverter that doesn't allow that power supply to be fed from their pins.